Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee and Chat with Hallee Bridgeman. I'm so happy you could join me. I have my cup of coffee, so I hope you have a cup of coffee or tea and you have a few minutes while we chat. So today is my birthday, and I haven't been doing live videos lately. I've been doing them, like recording them and then uploading them to YouTube. And I started to record a video and I was way into it, and then Kaylee called, my daughter Kaylee, and to tell me that she tested positive for the flu and that she was going home to go to bed. And I stopped recording, and I thought it'll take 10 minutes to record another video, and then I have to get it uploaded and I have to do all these things. And so I'll just go live. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then you're getting like the Facebook Live with, and you won't be able to see the comments. So I apologize. I'll put the link to the video on Facebook to my YouTube. So, all right. So happy Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. I had an amazing weekend. My best friend came from Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and we had a youth event for Fort Knox Youth Group on Friday night, and then Saturday we went to our friend's house for like a big get together and got to see all of these people and friends. And then Saturday night my friend Cindy came over, and the three of us sat up and until 3:30 in the morning, and it was great. And it was like food for my soul to sit with the two of them and just love them. And then Sunday, then Sunday I went and had lunch with three more friends, and then toured a distillery. And so it was like this overwhelming weekend of friends and love, and my soul is just like overflowing, brimming with joy, and my love tank has been fed. So it's been a great weekend. And I put it on social media for local friends to meet me for lunch today, so hopefully people will come, and then I'll like go and hibernate for the rest of the week, because that's a lot of peopling. And I'm one of those like deeply true introverts who I can't do people for very long, because they kind of suck my energy. So, love tank is full, energy is low. So anyway, it's been a good weekend. It's been a good birthday. So I'm talking about the Virtues and Valor Series today, and a couple of things have brought this to mind lately. One is the bar library at Fort Knox is incredible, and they have events all the time. And one of the things that they do regularly is the living history. And so it's basically someone dresses in period clothes, and then in character they talk about who they are. And so there's a Rosie coming March 10th, I think. And I'm thrilled because I checked my calendar when I saw the advertisement for it, and I was like, oh, I'm actually free. Like all the events that they do, I'm so rarely in town or available to go to them that knowing that I'm going to be able to go to one is incredible. So that was, and then I was talking to Cindy, and she's also my assistant, and she was putting together social media information things about each of the Virtues and Valor books. And she was talking to me about some of the things that she learned about the real life people that inspired my stories. And so for those of you who don't know the Virtues and Valor series, Greg and I were brainstorming one time about what was next. And he said to me, oh, it would be so good if you could do a series about the heavenly virtues, like grace, faith, hope. And I'm not kidding. And I know that people think that I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I'm not. All of a sudden, like boom, 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 the Virtues and Valor series was in my head. Crazy. And it was, the idea was a team of spies in occupied France, and all women, like a female team of covert spies. And I had been planning like my entire writing life. It was almost as if I was working toward being able to write a book on World War II, because it's my favorite time in history. I love that era. My father and I watched Casablanca when I was like 13, and that bloomed my love of the era. And since then, I have watched anything that I could watch that was about World War II or about life during World War II, and read books and went to movies, and like my one of the libraries where I used to live had tons of magazines dated back to the 30s, and you could check out the magazine, not check out the magazines, but they were like in the reference section, and I could sit and read the magazines, you know, from like 1935 to 1955 is where that era is for me. And so I've always known that I was going to write a book, and what I wanted it to be would be like a love story, not a love story, a love letter from me to the incredible character of people that were in that time period fighting a war that had taken over the entire world, you know, and affected, no one was untouched by it. And you know, they call it the greatest generation. I completely concur that that's what they were. The stories that I have read in the process of my research are truly unbelievable. And I wanted to give them light. I wanted to shine the light on who they were. And so the concept of having a true story that coincided with my story that I was writing was birthed when I wrote Christmas Diamond. And that was the Jewel series. I finished the Jewel series, and I had written a couple of books, and it was November, and I thought, oh, I want to write a Christmas story for my fans. And so what I made it was the first second generation Jewel series, and it was about a pilot who flew World War II air shows, contemporary, modern day. And so then I decided to make her the granddaughter of one of my characters from this book. And then I thought, oh, it would be really cool if I could do like a true story about something that happens in this book that coincides. And so I found a story about about an air show, and the two planes collided, and you know, they landed, no one died. And so I made that be part of my story in Christmas Diamond. And so it was, you know, it was just like, oh, we should have a true story at the end. And so then I started thinking, I wonder if I can do that for all 8 books. Well, it was originally it was 7. Find like a real person to inspire each one of my characters. And since I was doing women, you know, that's kind of almost this untold story. There's not a lot of it out there. And so it was incredible to find these women and what they did. And there were so many of them. Like I couldn't write all the books that I wanted to write about what inspired me after reading the stories of these women. And what's funny is in Temperance's Trial, which is the very first book of the Virtues and Valor series, in my team of 7 women who are covert agents in occupied France, one of them is the wireless operator. And in the first book, she is captured by the Nazis, and the other books in the series are the planning and execution of her rescue. And so the way that she's captured is she knows they are onto her, and she needs to send an SOS basically to have them get her out of there. And she does it from her room, and that was like the final way that we're able to triangulate her location. And the next, you know, within minutes, there's a pounding on her door, and she's arrested. And so there was a reviewer who said, I thought it was so convenient that you made it that was the way that she was captured, that's how they found her. And then she said, I read the true story and realized it was the exact same scenario for your character that you had written as the one who inspired Temperance's trial. So my one was not Josephine Baker. Hang on. I'm really bad with names, and I should have had all these names written down before. Anyway, the Marie Gilbert was inspired by Eileen Mary Dee Dee Nairn. So this is her. And that's how she was a wireless operator in occupied France, and that's exactly how they found her. So it was this incredible journey to write these books. I wrote them in just 7 months, and it was like this, because it's all the same event, just told from all the different perspectives of all the different characters. There were times when I had 4 books open on my machine at the same time so that I could make sure that everything coincided and worked, and that I had the exact same conversations and, you know, the same movements. And and I was so in the forest that I couldn't, or I was so in the trees and the woods, I couldn't see the forest. And so I kept thinking, this is going to be the most boring thing ever. No one's going to want to read all of these books because it's all the same event. It's going to be, oh, we're doing this scene again. Oh, we're in this scene again. Oh, I've already been in this scene. But, you know, each one is a different point of view, a different thoughts and feelings, and every book layers onto itself. And at the end, when I read them all, when I finally sat down and read book 1 through book 7, and then I added book 8, I thought, oh, I did it. This is an incredible story. It was, I had to write them so fast and get into it so deeply that I just kind of, I'm thinking that I got completely out of the way, and the Holy Spirit was able to just come in and just do it. And I couldn't imagine that I had done it, and I did it. And it's, anyone who reads the entire thing, all 8 books, is caught up in the same way. And this is the book that people love the most, and they love it. And I love that they love it because, like I said, it's my way of just pouring my admiration and affection out on these incredible women in history. So when Greg and I were talking about how to price them, because it's 8 books total, and so like when you get the whole story, you're paying for 8 books. And so I was wanting to make them almost nothing, like 99 cents. And he said, no, they're, you know, your writing is worth more. You need to do them for $2.99. And we were having this back and forth. And I was at San Antonio at the Romance Writers of America convention, and I was standing in line at a Starbucks and waiting in line with all of these romance writers, so you can imagine how long that line was. And I was looking at the price and the menu, and it occurred to me, and I had just got off the phone with Greg, and we had just finished talking about how to do the marketing and the pricing for the books. And it occurred to me that I was about to pay $3.69 for a cup of black coffee that I was going to take and sit on the boardwalk of San Antonio's Riverwalk and spend 10 minutes people watching while I drank this cup of coffee. And that's when, like, I had the revelation that the stories in this book are each worth a cup of coffee, at least a cup of coffee. And so deciding to then price them at $2.99 each was a very easy decision. And I last week had someone complain about the fact that book 4, so they were reviewing book 4, and they were complaining about the fact that it was only 119 pages, and, you know, that they didn't get a complete story. And I know that they're shorter because they're novellas and it's a serialized story, but it's all one story. And what's really cool about the way that we did it was that this paperback, which is massive, you can tell, if you bought all the ebooks, you're paying the same price as you would for the paperback. And so we love that we can give this paperback to people and then they have it and they can share it and they can give it to their friends, and you're not getting any better deal to buy the ebooks, and that's not heard of. Most of the time ebooks, the paperbacks are way more. Like, we should be charging way more for this paperback, but we don't want to, because we want these stories and this love story to this generation to be something that people can get. And my friend recently posted a picture of her daughter's stash from her haul from the library, and this book was in it, and she didn't realize it. Like, when she got it, she didn't even realize that it was me. It was just, she's like, oh, World War II and women in World War II. And that's what's really cool, is that teenage girls love this book, because it's about women being rock stars in war and wearing lipstick and dresses while they do it. So that review was something that was like on my mind, and Greg's like, quit stressing on that, because so many people tell you all the time how much they love this series, and they do, and I love that they love it. And I am so happy that it continually gets so much traction, because it's an amazing tribute to some amazing people, and I'm looking forward to discovering the same kind of gems of characters when I do the same thing for the Pacific War. I'm going to write a very similar style. Obviously it won't be the same book, but it'll be a very similar style to the way that I did the Virtues and Valor series. So I'll find women in the Pacific who were total rock stars and give them each their own book too. So thank you everyone for all the birthday wishes. My phone has been scrolling as I'm speaking, and there's no way that I could keep up with who was saying happy birthday. But you guys are wonderful, and I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next Monday. God bless you.